Bum, bum, bum.
Tier list time.
Tier list time.
Tier list time.
Welcome, everyone, to another Art of War tier list. I'm John Lennon.
I'm Jack Harpster.
And we are here today to give you another tier list.
A tier list. A very good tier list. The top 10 tier lists.
The top 10 tier lists. We're actually
40K.
going to do that, by the way. After we've done 10 of these, we are going to rank them 1 through 10.
Yeah.
Number 10 is going to be Richard and Nick's opinion on the best armies in the game because it was flat out wrong.
It was incredible.
Number 1 will be this video, the 10 best
now
units in the game.
Notably, this excludes vehicles, monsters. They will get their own tier list.
The
and
characters as well.
Characters as well.
Those will be coming soon.
Characters as well.
But we're just going units. Like squadrons.
Best units. Armies are made out of units.
Multi-models.
Generally, unless you're a knight.
Yep.
But armies are made out of units, and so that means that the bulk of your army is going to be made out of this stuff. So you're going to see a lot of the strongest units in the game are going to be the most valuable, like carrying your army forward, carrying their game plan forward, and doing what they want to do.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for this one. Spent some time coming up with this. There were definitely, there's some conversation about what was actually going to make the cut. There's some really good units out there.
There are, although we independently came up with our lists, and then we sent them to each other, and they were pretty close.
We had the same ideas that turned out.
I think we were 8 out of 10 were the same.
Yep, and we both agreed that Sanguinary Guard were not on the list.
I did not submit Sanguinary Guard.
If you didn't do it, how was I expected to?
Yeah. Sadness.
There you go.
They are pretty good, but they're
pretty good.
They are pretty good.
All right. Well, welcome to the chat, everyone. I see you all in there. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have any predictions, especially as we get closer to the top of what you think the best in the game is, or if you think that there's something that we missed. A unit at the end that you think we should have mentioned and didn't. Put it in the chat. Let us know. We'll be reading and interacting with it the whole time, and we're excited for it. All right,
let's do it.
All right, are we ready for number 10?
Number 10.
Number 10. This one is near and dear to my heart. This is something I love very, very much. We are going with Sister of Battle Retributors. I really like Retributors. I kind of put them in there because I think that the various heavy weapon squads, Havocs, heavy weapon teams, Devastators, Retributors, I feel like they're the best of them.
Retributors are by far the best.
They're by far the best. They're the cheapest. They're still ballistic skill 3. How tough you are doesn't matter because as soon as you walk out there with Meltas and vaporize something, people will respond and wipe you out.
They are the cheapest, like, loaded down with heavy weapon squad you have, and they also hit the hardest out of, like, any heavy weapon squad in the game.
They can get the best buffs with Morven Vol.
They can.
They can get the best traits specifically for them with
Argent Shroud.
Argent Shroud is like ignore heavy penalty, advance and shoot, get a free reroll. Morven Vol gives rerolls out the butt. They can have 2 cherubs, where admittedly we played as you can only use 1 in turn. All of that is somehow still not clarified.
Somehow GW has still not weighed in on this. And which means every tournament is different. If you can use 2, which some tournaments let you do, because rules is written, you can. They're disgusting.
They're obnoxious.
Like, they shoot so hard, and they shoot after, like they shoot one thing, boom, then they shoot another thing, boom, and you just killed 2 things with 1 unit. It's like 150 points.
Yeah, and they even make good use out of heavy flamers. You know, like they have multiple weapons that are good. It's not like you have one option and that's all you take.
Yeah, the only one I think people don't take generally is heavy bolters, and you would take heavy bolter retributors if you weren't limited to 3 retributor slots.
That's honestly true.
Like that's how it is. If you weren't limited to 3 units of retributors, you would take heavy bolters. But you're not. You are.
I'll spoil it by saying that this is the only Sisters unit that made the cut for me.
Yes. I put Sacrosants on the list instead of Retributors. I think Retributors are a little better, but Sacrosants / Bodyguard in general, and we'll get to that. There is a Bodyguard unit on this list.
There's at least
we'll talk
one
about how gross Bodyguard is as a rule.
Yeah.
But Sisters, Sacrosants really put the army on their back and carry them.
Exactly.
But Retributors are just a unit anyone.
Argent
Shroud Retributors.
Remember when people thought Retributors got nerfed? Like
I never thought that.
They were like, yeah, man, Retributors. They used to ignore heavy penalty. Now they don't. And I'm like, I like took a look at them. I'm like, this is better.
This is much better.
This is much better.
Ignoring cover is disgusting.
And they sometimes also ignore heavy.
And they also sometimes ignore heavy. Argent Shroud Retributors, again, Argent Shroud getting out of transports is something that GW has not weighed in on.
I'm assuming they can.
I'm assuming they can because that's clearly like the intent behind the rule. But the way it's worded, they can't. So that means it's very clear that they're supposed to. And it's also very clear that they don't. So some tournaments rule it one way, some tournaments rule it the other way. GW just hasn't gotten around to putting out an FAQ for it. So most tournaments say you can do Argent Shroud out of a transport. So Argent Shroud is you can advance and shoot,
Yep.
and you count as remaining stationary, and you get a free reroll to hit or wound. So yeah, they hit ungodly hard when they get out of transports.
Indeed. We do have a couple predictions in the chat. I will let everyone know in advance, this is not going to include any characters, monsters, or vehicles. We're going to do a tier list later of the best monsters and vehicles in the game. We're going to do one later of the best characters in the game. We're not there yet, but we will get to that point, I promise.
Spoiler alert, I believe there will be a Blood Angel character on my submission for best top 10 characters.
I would... What?
The Chaplain?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that in
We'll talk
video.
about it. There are some disgusting characters out there.
Let's roll ourselves on to number 9 on the list.
Number 9.
Truck Boys.
Truck Boys.
Truck Boys.
Truck Boys.
Do
they do anything particularly well? No. Are they fast as hell? Yes.
It's OBSEC. It's infantry. They do get the little bonus point asterisk of like, yeah, there's a truck involved here. But Truck Boys, Truck Knobs, Truck Mega Knobs, Truck Bosses, anything you can put truck in front of is apparently amazing except for the truck itself.
Yeah, the truck... But the Truck Boys... Truck Mega Knobs too?
Yeah, Truck Mega Knobs.
Truck Mega Knobs are gross.
Because you can move the truck 12 inches, get the unit out 3 inches, move them 5 inches, advance them d6 inches, and suddenly an Orc Boy squad has moved 20 plus d6 inches, and then it declares the charge.
Yes.
And just that ability for orcs to get infantry around the board, onto objectives, tagging things, tying you up, still hitting pretty hard. I think that Truck Boys and Truck Boys / Truck Knobs is really the answer here.
Yeah, it's a truck fellas.
You know, truck accessories.
Yeah. Trucks and truck accessories.
They're not trucks. Trucks aren't that good.
No, trucks are
but
bad. They're also a vehicle.
Only the truck accessories get my nod here. I legitimately think they're really good. I think they're going to be a big part of the future orc builds going forward, where you see Gofflets that apply a lot of pressure. You do give up Goffs to be a truck boy, but when you've got a lot of Goff friends, it still works out pretty well for you.
It shows you how good truck boys are, that 3 of them make the cut in every orc list that's trying to be aggressive, and they don't get the benefit of any traits. Like, they don't get the benefit of traits, but you still see 3 of them.
Yeah.
And that's because they're so fast. They hit your opponent turn 1 on their board edge. Getting out and moving and advancing and charging with a reroll after the vehicle has already moved means they go
ludicrous fast.
They go ludicrous speed.
Ludicrous speed.
They can go up to 27 inches and declare a rerolling charge.
Yes.
Yep.
That's all they can do.
And that kind of speed, and they can also just move around and take objectives from you because they don't even have to be aggressive. They can, they can be. They really can be. But they can also just take all your objectives away because they get out after the truck moves and something else hops in the truck, and then Truck Boys are so good.
Truck Boys are really, really good.
I mean, they're one of the things when the book came out, we were like, that is good.
It dropped off for a little bit where people weren't taking it in the speedwog list. But I think as melee orcs are starting to become more and more popular, I feel like these are ones that are going to age really well. And again, we're not talking monsters vehicles here. Otherwise, we'd have a lot of orc things to talk about because orc vehicles are amazing.
Yeah.
But are you ready to move on to number 8?
Absolutely am. Something near and dear to my heart.
Our
heart.
Vanguard Veterans. Our heart. Vanguard Veterans are just great.
They're just so solid.
They're just so solid. Like, they're a staple of Marine lists. You know, everyone jokes about how, like, you buy 4 boxes of Van Vets, 3 Redemptor Dreadnoughts, and you can paint it literally any color you want because it's a good list in every single chapter.
Yes.
I think that the Vanguard Veterans are the best part of that. They're so good in so many lists. They're good in White Scars. They're good in Iron Hands. They're good in Blood Angels. They're good in... Not Dark Angels, actually. They're terrible in Dark Angels. We're going to go ahead and fold Wolfguard Veterans into Vanguard Veterans here.
And
it's the same thing.
Wolfguard are literally the same thing, just cheaper, so technically they are better.
That's true. Wolfguard Veterans are better, 100%.
They're cheaper. But this is just stands in for really any roughly 30-point Blood Angel. Roughly 30-point Space Marine jump pack assault unit. The loadout generally is Lightning Claw Storm Shield. White Scars takes those Lightning Claws up to 2 damage
and
lets
faster.
you advance and charge and fall back and charge. Blood Angels just give them +1 to wound
and
all the time and an extra attack, which is gross.
Even Black Templar ones.
Black Templar ones hit really hard. Bones of Mordred, double Lightning Claw on the Sergeant means they throw out a ton of mortal wounds, and you can Hammer of Wrath with them and do some more mortal wounds. Honorable mentions in this category.
You're going to mention Death Company and Sanguinary Guard?
I am, as well as Wolfguard, which we just did.
Yep.
Sanguinary Guard are like like Vanguard Veterans, they hit harder and they have some shooting, but they don't have an invuln. The shooting does actually matter because Vanguard Vets do not shoot.
Yeah.
So that means that any jump pack Space Marine unit that's roughly around 30 points, it's just
pretty good.
Really good.
I think Vanguard Veterans, like, people were complaining about them being a little bit too good. They went up 2 points in the latest balance update. I think that even at their increased points cost, Vanguard Veterans keep a lot of Marines viable. Now, I would love the answer to this to be to buff other things, but right now, Vanguard Veterans are the unit that carries the Marine Codex right now.
So, if anyone from GW is watching,
yes,
please do not nerf Vanguard Vets.
Please don't.
Please don't.
Leave them the same.
There are number 8 on the list.
Number 8.
They're number 8 on the list, but don't nerf them, please, because they're the only good fast combat unit. They're the only fast combat unit in Space Marines.
What they're going to do is they're going to nerf Vanguard Veterans, and they're going to buff Assault Marines, and they're just going to, like, watch me, like, pry off my Storm Shields, and they're going to laugh at me.
Just crying as you just rip the lightning claws off your
like,
balls. Just like, no.
Like, I didn't want to do it.
No, but Assault Marines compared to Van Vets is night and day. Like, Assault Marines are garbage, and Vanguard Vets are amazing. And
a lot of this has to do with the fact that they can just all carry a Storm Shield.
Yeah, and they have core, they receive buffs. Like, they are a vehicle for Space Marine buffs, and Space Marine buffs are amazing.
Yep. They're pretty good.
All
right.
Vanguard.
Moving on to the next.
On to the next.
All right.
What is better than a Vanguard Vet? A thick boy.
A thick boy. We're moving on to our first Drukhari of the tier list.
Maybe our last.
We'll see. We'll see. Maybe our last. Talking about Grotesques here.
Grotesques. Why are they so fast, John? Why are they so thick, but they are also so fast?
Yeah. You look at Grotesques. They've really become a lot more popular with a points decrease that they recently received that has put them on this list. They would not have made it earlier.
No.
But at 35 points a model, you basically take a Blade Guard veteran, and you give him +1 toughness and a feel no pain in exchange for that
Storm extra wound.
And an extra wound, and the whole power from pain thing.
Yeah, and a trait, which is usually -1
often
damage.
-1 damage.
Often -1
They're dummy thick.
If you've never put damage into Grotesques before, buddy, it does not go how you think.
Well, I've actually...
You put damage into them,
but then you don't.
And it just sinks in and nothing happens.
Yeah.
Like five thick gentlemen, 5 large boys, feels like you should just be able to kill it. You're like, they have a 6-up, right? And you're like, yeah. And then they don't die at all.
Yep.
4 wounds, -1 damage, 5-up, feel no pain with an invuln. It can go to a 5-up after turn 4, or if they throw the grenade, turn 3.
Or if they kill something and there's a Kronos, give them a support.
That happens too.
Yep.
That happens all the time. And then they get the extra power from pain. They get all the power from pain's powers. And they have a 5-up, -1 damage, 4 wounds.
Oh, yeah.
And if you haven't played 40k that much, you may assume that that's not that durable. But
it just
roll damage into them and see what happens. Just go home and roll it in. They can be toughness 6 if they're near a homunculus.
Yep.
And they advance in charge. They move 7.
Yep.
So they're as fast as a Vanguard Vet or close to. And they are way more durable. And they're infantry.
Way more durable.
Hit crazy hard. They hit on 2s. Turn 2 on, they hit on 2s. They have a monstrous amount of attacks.
Yeah.
High strength, decent AP, access to full wound rerolls and 2 damage.
Yes, hitting on 2s, no rerolls, wounding on like often 4s or 3s with full rerolls. It gets nasty. The volume adds up. 2 damage with decent AP, it gets places.
Like
Grotesque kill.
This unit without advanced in charge is balanced, in my opinion. This unit with advanced in charge is deeply unbalanced.
It is unsettling. Deeply unsettling.
It is a problem. When you have 15 of these bearing down at you, and let's say some Talos and Kronos, they'll probably make our top 10 vehicles and monsters list.
They'll get an honorable mention at least.
They will at least get an honorable mention. When you have the entire thick city bearing down on you, and you're like, I have to kill this or it's going to start tabling me. Trust me, you will not kill it.
Yeah. We've got a lot of predictions in the chat. Some of them quite interesting. Some of these predictions are going to be seen later in the list. Some of them will not.
Yeah, so the prediction about Plague Burst Crawlers and Contemptor Dreads, those are both vehicles. So they are not making the list, even if they were to be good enough.
But we will consider them when we do a monster and vehicle list.
Absolutely.
In a week or 2.
They will be on the table. We're having a lot of fun with these tier lists.
We're just gonna crank them out.
If you guys have any ideas for tier lists that you want us to do, I mean, we're looking for new ideas. Please leave them in the comments below, and promise we will look at them.
I'm still waiting for the top 10 tier list.
Yeah, well, we have to do.
As soon as we have to.
We have to do 9 tier lists, and the top 10 tier list is going to be number 1.
Yeah.
All right, so Grotesques, what more do you want? They're cheap, they're fast, they're insanely durable, and they hit insanely hard.
Yep. Well, there is one thing I want.
There's one thing you want.
I want them to be OBSEC.
You would love them to be OBSEC. If they were OBSEC, oh man. Can you imagine if there was a unit on the other side of this transition button you're about to hit that were OBSEC? That would be crazy. Maybe with all the durability we were just talking about, but it's OBSEC? Maybe. Oh man.
I think if
40K
Grotesques
would never recover.
I think if Grotesques were OBSEC, they would not be 7 on our list. They would be number 6 on our list.
Which is Rax.
It's weird that like we put Rax above Grotesques.
Yes.
I will defend that. I think it's right. Rax are so good.
Yeah.
Tabulates, like Trueborn went up, Witches went up. Rax just stayed the same at a cool 8 points model. I'm like, isn't that the one with the good melee and the feel no pain? And GW's like, nope, it's a toughness 5 one. And I'm like, huh, that's the cheap one.
Just to be clear what you're getting for 8 points per model. You're getting OBSEC. You're getting very passable combat, like very decent combat, especially with access to full wound rerolls.
Yep.
So you're getting access to good combat. You're getting access to toughness 5.
Toughness 4, the homunculus does help though.
The homunculus brings them to toughness 5. Yep. They have -1 damage.
Often.
Have a 5-up feel no pain. Can be in cover to get a really good cover save with the 1 CP
yeah,
strat.
you get a 4-up cover save.
You get a 4-up cover save. Later in the game, you get a 5-up invul. This unit does not die.
Yep.
It doesn't die. You can take them in squads of up to 20. You can take them in squads of up to 20. They can advance and charge. They can advance, shoot an Asa factor, and then fire and fade further forward, or never stationary, whatever it's called.
Never stationary, yeah.
And they just take all your objectives, and a 20-man squad, I cannot emphasize this enough, does not die.
Going up to 20 is huge. You didn't mention the fact that if you do a little bit of a warlord trade thingamajig, they can actually heal D3 models in your command phase.
Yeah, and that's in your command phase, so they go, boop, boop, take your objective.
Get a little closer to declare charges. And of course, there's the fact that, you know, with the synergy that the rest of the army provides, they often heal models from Chronos. They get nasty, if I'm being honest with you.
I mean, everything we just said about Grotesques, but they hit slightly less hard and are OBSEC. And that's enough to propel them over Grotesques, but really the combination of the two
is it's deadly, yeah.
The Grotesques do the heavy lifting, and the Rax are just there to say you don't score points. And you're going to lose because those two combined, but like, they're two combined.
Yeah, they're so strong. Like,
they're so strong.
Rax are one of the best troops in the game, not even a question. We've talked before about how valuable OBSEC is, and we've talked about the top 10 rules in the game. But OBSEC real near the top.
Yeah.
Getting OBSEC on a unit that is relatively cheap, relatively fast, relatively durable, relatively good in combat. It's not amazing at any of those. It's not as tough as Custodes. It doesn't hit as hard as Blood Angels. But like, you're getting all 4. You're like an A- at everything, and that adds up to more than an A-.
Why is a 20-man squad 160 points, John? But if you're looking at this and you want to come out with it, there is a list out there. It is theoretical at the moment. Nobody has run it, but it is out there, and it's just waiting for its time to burst onto the scene.
It's 120 racks?
Is 120 racks. And that list is good. It just is good. And nobody's run it yet. Somebody's going to run it soon. And
I hope
it is just hard to deal with. It won't kill you very quickly, although it is still, you know, it's 160 points a unit, so they'll still have a ton of stuff behind it. But it just, you can't chew through it in 5 turns. You just can't. So it will glom all your objectives till the day you die. Like,
woof. Yes. So let's move on from racks. We actually only have 1 troop left on this list. And the last troop's choice that we're going to take, and we're going to take a look at...
also 8 points per model. Did they go up?
I think they're 9.
You think they're 9 now?
They are 9 now.
They're 9 now. That kind of gives it away.
Used to be 8, is now 9. We are, of course, talking about these Skatari Rangers.
Yes.
I think that, you know, AdMech have kind of dropped off a little bit as far as a faction goes. Like, what's, you know, the most popular faction right now? AdMech have dropped off a little bit. But as far as just a unit goes... Skatari Rangers do everything. You know, we made some jokes earlier where Richard was like helping us out with a YouTube video, and he was giving examples of units that are good at different things.
Yeah,
so we can use examples.
this was crazy.
And he's like, so you want a cheap troop to hold objective like Skatari Rangers, but it's also good to have durable troops to hold objectives like Skatari Rangers. And you want things that aren't expensive like Skatari Rangers, but also if you can get a troop with like a scout move or a forward deploy like Skatari Rangers, it helps if they do good damage like Skatari Rangers. And I'm like, are you just using Skatari Rangers as an example for every archetype in the game?
Yeah, he would list like 3 examples for each thing so we could have something to talk about. And every single thing that you want a thing, like something to be good at, the only one that overlapped was Skatari Rangers. We're talking Skatari Rangers and Custody Shield Guard. And then for cheap troop, you'd have Skatari Rangers and like cultists. And then for fast units, or for units with a pre-game move, you had Skatari Rangers
and like
infiltrators. And it's just like, and Skatari Rangers are also just better at that role than every other one of those options. They hit harder than every other troop in shooting. Period. They are really good at shooting.
They're 2, sometimes 3 shots each. They often hit on 2s. They ignore hit modifiers. They're rerolling 1s often. Strength 4, AP 2, ignore cover. Sometimes do mortals. Often boost their range. They are fantastic. They have access to +1 to wound, reroll 1s to wound, free rerolls. Skatari Rangers are, even though I don't think that AdMech is in as good a position as some other factions we've mentioned, I think Skatari Rangers are the best troop in the game.
For sure.
I don't think there is a single army that would not take Skatari Rangers in their data sheet.
If you could just take a 20-man brick?
No. If I could port Skatari Rangers into any codex in the game, not a single one would say no.
Yeah. I mean, the buffs are also crazy.
Yeah.
Like, the Skatari Rangers are now 9 points a model, but they are going to have like a 2-up ignore AP 1 and 2. They're going to be able to shoot you off the board.
Yeah.
And yeah, they kill everything in line of sight. Doesn't matter what it is.
Doesn't matter at all.
Doesn't matter at all. And killing them is very, very, very difficult. They're OBSEC. They're a big unit. They can fall back and shoot multiple different ways, so you can't prevent them from shooting.
Yeah, they can teleport. You can give them transhuman, ignore AP 1 and 2. You can give them +3 to their armor saves.
Yep.
They are a problem. 2. They can auto pass morale with multiple different ways, have a good leadership. They receive command phase buffs from all over the table.
They're pretty disgusting.
Pretty good.
They're pretty good. It's just there's no real good answer to them is the problem. They'll kill you. They don't die.
Yep.
Yeah. And they also pregame move.
Yep. And their troops, they're OB6. They fill your detachment rolls. You can take a lot of them. They're spammable because the rule of 3 doesn't apply. Like, we saw people taking Skatari Rangers in like the hundreds and winning events with them. And they did go up 1 point, which across 100 guys does add up.
It does.
They frankly would have been my number 1 choice about a month ago.
Yes. No, at 8 points, I mean, with the context of the army where it was too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and you'll see them filling so many different roles. Like, it's a Swiss Army knife. If you need a cheap troop that just sprints onto an objective every turn and takes it, 45 points, 5 Rangers. Done.
Yeah. Lee, I actually have to disagree with you. The best unit that wears dressing gowns are actually Dark Angels. Every single one. Just Dark Angels.
Dark Angels?
Dark Angel Terminators, Dark Angel Veterans, doesn't matter. If they wear a dressing gown,
I'm going to have to disagree with you with
Angels.
that. I'm going to have to say Exalted Sorcerers. You've seen Nick in that dressing gown. Not really dressing gown, but like,
the robe,
The robe.
It's just not High Magister Nick. Just doesn't.
It doesn't roll off the tongue very well.
Doesn't. Yeah. He's just he's not very High Magistery.
Yeah.
2-game losing
now I feel now I feel like clammy and gross. I haven't talked about that. Let's move on to a similar thing that is similarly gross.
All right, so we're on to number 4 now. So we're talking what we consider to be the top 4 units in the game. Again, for those of you just joining in, we're not talking characters. We're not talking monsters, vehicles. We're talking units, multi-model. Although technically lictors are allowed to apply, but
they did not make the cut.
They did not make it.
They did not make the cut, my man.
All right. Number 4. Don't worry, we took a break from Drakari, and we're back.
There's some Hellions. Why did they not go open points, John?
Hellions are crazy pants.
They're so fast.
Hellions are, I think, the best witch cult unit. They really take strong advantage of combat drugs. They move 14 base if you take combat drugs in the right order. They move 16 base. If you double that, they move 18 base. They can advance and charge on turn 2. They have assault weapons they can advance and shoot. They're fantastic in combat. They have a lot of different buffs they can take in multiple sub-factions, as both Cult of Strife and custom cults. We've seen... Oh, and you can Rite of Grief, so you can like advance at +2, and then they move like 20 inches plus D6 and charge you. Hellions are crazy.
They're 85 points for a unit of 5.
They
They fall apart
Yep.
so fast whenever you put any damage into them, the whole unit gets scooped. But that just means they're an insane trade piece. Like, they're one of the best trade pieces in the entire game.
Yep. It's because they're so fast. They get wonderful buffs. They don't need a ton of character support to be good.
Yeah. They hit on 2s natively.
Their price point is incredible value.
They have access to reroll wounds when you need them to kill something.
Yep.
They have an insane number of attacks when you need them to kill something. What do they have, like 4 attacks a model? 5 attacks a model?
I think
With the
their
drug?
3 base drugs takes them to 4. Or they say 4 base drugs take
I
them
think
to
they're
5.
4 base and it takes them to 5. I think.
Oh, I'm going to look.
I don't know. It feels like an infinite number of attacks.
It feels
when it's
like
coming
there's
my way.
an unlimited number of attacks. And I know the ability to double boost the combat drugs means when they're +1 attack, it's like, 2 CP, they're +2 attacks now.
Yep.
It's like,
I know Sean Naden was working on some stuff where he would take multiple combat drugs with whatever that custom, I think it's a custom witch trait is.
Yep.
And then he would double all of them and he would get the Hellions that made me think that, like,
I saw stars.
It was insane. I was like, there's no way this is possible.
So
This can't be right.
I'm gonna be honest here. This scarred me. I played Sean Naden like 2 weeks ago, and he had a couple of raiders full of dudes. He had 2 squads of Hellions. I went out there. I did my turn. I was feeling very big brained about myself. I wrapped 3 different raiders to prevent people from getting out. I killed 1 squad of Hellions, and I like trapped him and made myself like unfightable. And I'm like, all right, Sean, you can hit me with 1 unit of Hellions, and then like I'm just gonna get another turn. So like this game's basically over. And he's like, oh man, this sucks. And he took 1 unit of 10 Hellions, and he killed 3 units.
I guess I better have, and this is not a
and
joke.
a half.
This is not a joke. 70 attacks off of 10 of them.
He did. He had
That's not
70
a joke.
attacks.
70 attacks.
And I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
And he flew over someone. He used chain snares to do like 5 mortal wounds to each unit. He shot in, finished them off. He multi-charged 2 units, wiped them both out. And I'm like, what? He killed like 500 points with a 10-man Hellion squad and a couple CP. And I was like, huh? It was
something else.
It left me soul searching.
And you just have to say, like, thank God I killed the other unit.
Yeah, that was 1. He had 2. And I killed 1. I'm like, I killed 1. That's a good start. The other one was just like, you will meet God today. Boom.
Yeah, Hellions are in some
Yeah.
instances like the perfect 40k unit. I think there's one other unit on this list that I would call the perfect 40k unit, like the platonic ideal of a 40k unit. It would be the one at number 1. We'll get there. But this one is like
They're a little squishy.
they're a little squishy.
They're a little
But
squishy.
what that means is they move so fast that they never expose themselves until they get their chunk of flesh.
Yep.
And then once they get their pound of flesh, then you can kill them, whatever.
100%. Yeah, they will. They're not a 2-use unit.
They aren't.
But like you can give them a 4-up interval after you kill someone, and apparently you kill people.
Yes.
Yes. The Hellions,
Hellions rock.
top tier, man. Top Hellions, fantastic.
They're not the best unit in Drukhari, though. That is coming up.
Somehow.
Somehow there's a unit better than Grotesques, Racks, and Hellions. And it's in the same codex as those. That is not okay.
All right, top 3.
Top 3.
We are getting to good units. We're getting to real good.
We're getting to carry a codex units right
This
now.
is these guys actually they put 4 legs on the ground because they are carrying an entire Tyranid faction on their back.
You know it. You don't love it.
I love it.
It's Hiveguard.
It's Hiveguard.
It's Hiveguard.
Hiveguard had to make the top 3. I think I probably could have made a real good argument for them to be number 2.
Yeah, I think number 2 is slightly more un-okay.
But they're both pretty good.
They are, oh my god, Hiveguard. So let's talk about indirect. Let's talk about indirect shooting. Shooting that does not require line of sight.
Yep.
If you take the shotguns on these guys, you are not getting your value, my man.
I know. I felt bad because the stock picture has some shot cannons.
Some shot cannons.
Look at the one guy off to the right. The guy far right. He's carrying an impaler cannon.
And that...
He will impale you.
He will impale you. He will
doesn't
impale you
need
from
eyes.
across the board, and there's nothing you can do about
Yep.
it.
He doesn't need eyes to see. He doesn't care if there's ruins in the way. Someone else is aiming the gun. He points it up. The hive mind tells it to hit you straight in the face.
It does not matter.
It does not.
It doesn't matter. So shot cannons are direct line of sight, 24 inches. Who cares? I played against them. It was the easiest thing in the world to play around.
Meh.
Impaler cannons are 36 inches. They are anti-tank. They are also anti-infantry. And they ignore line of sight.
They ignore cover.
They ignore cover.
Yep.
There is nothing you can do to stop these Impaley boys from coming for you.
You need to kill them.
You need to kill them.
You need to kill them.
And they're so good that Tyranids have turned into Hiveguard and Time Buyers. And that is functionally it.
Yep.
Like,
yeah. Hiveguard and Hiveguard accessories, baby. That's my book.
They're Hiveguard and units that give you 5 turns to shoot Hiveguard.
And things that make the Hiveguard shooting better. There are a bunch of buffs that Hiveguard are really good at taking, but Hiveguard are probably the best unit at receiving those buffs, which is one of the reasons they're on the list.
Yeah.
The reason that is actually, for the record, the reason I did not put Hiveguard in the top 2 is because Hiveguard get a lot of their power from buffs that other people give them. Hiveguard by themselves are not as good as the units above them. When you put all the resources into Hiveguard, they are deadly.
Yes.
But it takes a lot of investment.
Just to answer something I'm seeing in the chat right now about how, these units are only good because they have buffs. Every unit has buffs. Every unit that you're going to see on the board is going to be receiving some kind of buff.
But Hiveguard take them so well.
If you need to receive a lot of buffs, then we'll move you down the list. But Hiveguard don't. They are good as is. And then when you buff them, they are not okay anymore.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, in case you don't know what you're being shot at across the board, out of line of sight, behind a wall, in the next country, next county over, first off, there is nothing you can do to avoid this shooting. There is nothing. He is hitting you, and that is it. Yep. And this is what's hitting you. 2 shots a guy.
It's 12.
12 shots. Hitting on 2s generally, or hitting on 3s with full rerolls.
One of the 2, yeah.
Generally hitting on 3s with full rerolls, exploding 6s, strength 8, AP 2, ignores cover, D3 damage with reroll damage, and an extra AP on 6s to win.
Yeah.
And that is a lot of firepower that is good into everything.
Yep.
And I mean everything. And then, just for the cherry on top, 2 CP, they shoot again.
Yeah.
And that means, and trust me, they will shoot again. This is not like, it's not really worth... No. You crank that Hiveguard lever and you fire them 10 times in a game. And your opponent won't have an army left.
Yeah.
1 turn of Hiveguard shooting
so good.
You can deal with it. 2 turns of Hiveguard shooting, it gets rough. 3 turns of Hiveguard shooting, you better get in there now because they are tabling you.
4 turns is...
4 turns is you don't have an army left.
4 turns is too many.
Yeah.
And if Tyranids can protect the Hiveguard for too long, they can take over a game. They're just great value. Like, there's no way around it. Hiveguard are just...
They're good into
so
everything.
good.
They kill Marines like it's their job.
We are at the point, by the way, we are exclusively talking about units that I don't think should exist the way they do.
Yes. I think
that point.
Everything in the top 5, at least, is not okay in some form or another.
Yeah.
And Hiveguard are just not interactive enough.
Nope.
As I said, there is not a thing you can do to prevent them from shooting you with this. Not one. If your opponent is good, they will keep you from tagging the Hiveguard. Period. So that means you have to somehow wade through a million bodies whose only goal is to keep you from the Hiveguard.
Yeah.
And the Hiveguard player eventually will just table you with 1 unit over 5 turns. It won't happen right away, but they kill Marines at a speed that needs to be seen to be believed. You have 4 5-man Marine squads. I'm going to split fire and fire half of them into this and half of them into that, and I just killed both. And then, because rerolling damage is absurd, and they wound on 2s. And then I'm going to double tap them, and I might leave a guy or 2 out of this squad, and I might leave a guy out of that squad. And I just gutted 4 units in 1 turn. And the following turn, I'm going to do it again.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to keep doing it. This doesn't stop.
No, it doesn't stop. And so, you have Vanguard vets that are going to run up and do it. Well, I fired my entire unit at 1 Van vet. They're dead. At 5 Van vets. And then I fired my next volley at another unit of Van vets. They're dead. You're running out of units that can even run up and tag me, and in another turn you will have 0. Yeah, they're pretty disgusting, and I'm hoping New Tyranids comes out and makes them a lot less this.
I do hope New Tyranids come out. We're on the same page.
I know.
All right, are you ready for number 2?
Better, but I hate it less.
Better, but you hate it less. All right, we are talking about our favorite snaky boys.
Snaky boys.
And also Urgles.
Also Urgles, not Medusae or Lamans.
Nope.
Lamaeos.
We are not the LMAOs. We are talking about the Court of the Archon. I promise we're done. This is our final Drukhari mention. We're good here. But, woof! Court of the Archon?
It did not go up in points, again, which, in case you don't know, Court of the Archon is the best Drukhari unit.
Yeah. It is.
It is the best Drukhari unit. If
Yep.
you have not seen it, I don't know what to tell you, but your opponent should be running it.
I don't think I write a list without 2 ever. They're so good.
They're so good. So here's what you get for 16 points a model. Just keep in mind, 16 points per model. They move 8 inches, I believe, in advance and charge.
Yep, 8 inches
They
advantage.
have
charge.
1 million attacks.
Yep.
All right.
Urgles have 6 attacks each on the charge. Slith have 3.
Yeah. And
Good strength and AP.
good strength and AP.
Yeah.
They have some splinter fire on shooting. But the main thing is their durability. Their durability is 3 wounds apiece, with a 6-up invuln going to a 5-up, and some armor so that they can benefit from cover and nonsense like that.
Yeah.
But a 5-up feel no pain.
Yep.
And it's just a unit that is very annoying to deal with for its points cost. It's not as its numbers aren't as off the chain as Grotesques are.
No.
But they make up for it by being less than half the points cost.
Jeez.
So an 8-man unit of these, which is 4 Slith, 4 Urgles, leave the Lomeos, and the Medusa at home, is 136 points.
It's 36 attacks.
It's 36 attacks.
Fast. It's tough.
It's 24 wounds that all have a 5-up feel no pain and all have like a 6 or a 5-up invuln. If your opponent's, they'll be Black Heart, so they'll get that invuln on turn 3, which means that if your opponent's good, let me put it this way: Court of the Archons that don't have a 5-up invuln are killable.
Yep.
Court of the Archons that have a 5-up invuln are no longer killable.
I don't know what it is.
I
As soon as they get the 5-up, it's like, no, they're good.
5-up, 5-up plus with 3 wounds apiece.
Full Repentia charge, there's still enough left to do damage to you. It's like,
Yeah. There's just nothing that goes well into them.
No.
There really isn't.
Yep.
They also move ludicrous speed
Yep.
and hit on 2s and have 1 million attacks.
I don't think we've even mentioned their best part.
The best part is they're a bodyguard.
They're also a bodyguard.
They're also a bodyguard.
Yeah.
So 136 points gets you a unit that is a role player all the time. Very fast, incredibly durable for its points cost.
Great objective holder, great
Objective
aggressive.
holder, great at being aggressive, great at grinding games out. It's never worth shooting
Nope.
because it's only 136 points.
Yep.
But it will take, literally, I played a game against Nick in a tournament where his army and my army kind of killed each other. And then I was like winning the fight. And then turn 3, his Slits and Urgles went to a 5-up invuln. He exposed them, he charged, and in 2 turns he had tabled me with all of them.
They're crazy.
They're so good. They take over games late. They are not worth shooting early because they're so cheap that they take over a game late.
Yep.
And they're just
crazy value, and you can
so durable.
Yeah,
they're so
you can
fast.
you can leave them on an objective, and like other skirmishing units get wrecked by Slith and Urgle.
Yes.
Like you can kill Slith and Urgle if you're like, all right, I guess I'm gonna line up 12 multi-meltas on you and like pour dark lances and las cannons and like mortal wounds and like 30 stormbolters into you. Sure, but it's 136 points.
Yeah.
Think about using that amount of effort to kill a unit of infiltrators, which is 16 points less.
Like if you get out 2 Retributor squads loaded with multi-meltas, you don't kill them.
Close. It hurts.
Close. It's not fun. And if you're at 12-inch range, it makes it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
If you're over 12-inch range, you just don't. You just do not do it. Because 3 wounds with a 5-up feel no pain bounces so many things.
Yep.
Forces you to
It's
put extra wounds into it.
And like, they never roll even on it. Like it may average out, but it's always going to be like, oh, I failed 3 and lost a guy. Oh yeah, this guy made 5 out of 6 feel no pains. Like he's just there, and it's like, just keep rolling dice, and they just keep hanging around. Court of the Archon is magical. I took 2 the last time I took Drukhari to a tournament. I think I would keep doing it because they are money, they're value. The one thing holding them back is that you have to take an Archon to unlock it, which does inflate the cost a little bit. Well, let's also be honest here. Archons are just good.
You're taking an Archon
taking
anyway,
an Archon.
which means if you're taking an Archon, you're not taking a Unit 4 Slith and Urgle, try it. Try that.
Yeah.
If you're caught in a dilemma. If you pour firepower into the 2 units early, you're not even guaranteed to kill them.
Yep.
A, your opponent doesn't need to leave them out in the open.
Yep.
But B, if you do it, you're spending your entire army to try and kill 272 points of their army. And then their army now kills everything that's exposed.
Yep.
And if you leave them up, they will take over the game late.
Yes. Salty Snell Gaming, the reason we have a court so much higher than Grotesques is because an 8-man Court of the Archon costs less points than 4 Grotesques.
Yes.
And for that, they hit harder, they're faster, they have an extra role in that they have guns, and they're a bodyguard.
And they're more durable.
And they're more durable than less than 4 Grotesques.
Yeah, 16 points per model is insane.
Like 4 Grotesques is 16 wounds with a 5-up feel no pain.
Yeah.
This is 24 wounds, and again, this is cheaper.
Yes.
Nah, I like Grotesques a lot. I think they're great, but Salty Snell Gaming, I gotta say, Court of the Archon over Grotesques, I'm sticking to that.
Yeah, if you could take 3 without having to really take a lot of characters, you just would.
Yeah, that's the only reason I don't take 3. If I could take 3 Court of the Archons with 1 Archon, done. Yes. No questions asked. I would already own it 24.
Yes, their shooting is useless, but it is more than Grotesques. I mean, Grotesques did end up on the list in a good position.
Grotesques are very good.
Grotesques are insane. And the fact that they can stack this plus Rax plus Grotesques plus a unit that didn't make the cut because they're a monster, Talos, means you can have a big wall of meat just bearing down on you that you cannot kill. And out of that, Court of the Archon is the most versatile.
Yep.
And they are, point for point, the most annoying.
Yeah, I like that the Court, one, it doesn't require being a sub-faction where Grotesques really drop off when they're not -1 damage. Yes. Now, these are best as Blackheart, though.
They are a lot better as Blackheart.
Blackheart giving them a better invul early. It's so many things going in favor of the Court. I just think they're insane. And we've put them both on the table. The Court of the Archon has outperformed multiple times.
Let me put it this way. You took double court when rack liquefiers was a thing. Yep. I.e. the most broken the codex has been.
Yep.
And 2 courts made the table.
Yep. I spent more points on courts than I did liquefier racks.
Yeah.
I would not regret it.
That's just correct.
Yep.
Racks are absurd. And bodyguard shenanigans you can get up to are also crazy. You can put an Archon on an objective and your opponent cannot shoot it. Even if they are closer, because oh look, there's a rack squad.
It's the multiple
there's a
roles.
Court squad behind a wall.
Like you can argue that Grotesques are better at running straight at an opponent and killing them. You can argue that. I don't know if I'd agree, but there's an argument to be made.
Yes.
But if we're talking a backfield holder, courts are better.
Yeah. And also, you get bodyguards. Turn 3 on, I think they're just more durable and they're faster.
Definitely on turn 3, they're more durable.
Yes.
So, which, hey, being more durable earlier is better. Once they both get a 5-up invuln, you can compare -1 damage and a higher toughness to more wounds. But again, you hit the fact that this is more wounds and cheaper.
Yeah.
And faster.
And they have like literally 36 attacks coming at you.
It's a lot of attacks.
Rolling.
It's 36 attacks versus like 16 from Grotesque.
So you're going to be near an Archon, so you're going to reroll your
hits. Up.
It's a lot of strength 5 AP1, a lot of strength 4 AP1 or something like that. I think it's like strength 5 AP2, strength 4 AP1.
Yeah.
And it's so many attacks.
It is. It's 36 from 8 dudes.
The hit on 2s rerolling are decent attacks. Like they will just clean you up.
Yeah, but I've gotten cleaned up by them too many times.
They're so versatile, but they're not quite as versatile as the number 1 on the list.
Number 1 on the list. Drum roll.
People may have figured it out by now because it's not on the list otherwise.
Boom.
Grey Knight Interceptors. God, I would take 40 if I could.
Would you stop at 40?
I think you could make a really good list if you just took the required, I think, the 2 Grandmasters.
Huh?
And then you just took every single remaining point and you melted it down and turned it into interceptors.
Yeah.
Honestly, if there was no Battleforge requirements whatsoever, I think a 2,000 point list that is just divided by interceptors would be the best list in the game.
Interceptors are amazing.
They are so good.
How many points is an interceptor?
They're 24, I believe.
24?
They're 120 for Unit 5.
Okay.
Yeah, ignore the gun on there. You don't take that.
Yeah, that's just a picture. You don't need that. But Grey Knight Interceptors do everything. Everything. Like, again, I hate using the Intercessor comparison because the Intercessor is just not really a good unit anymore.
No, the Intercessor
is
bad.
But I love them.
But you have to take them, but they're bad.
But an Interceptor, not an Intercessor, you just change 2 letters and this thing goes bananas.
Yes.
So
they're not OBSEC, although So they're not OBSEC, even though there are 2 auras that give you OBSEC and Grey Knights. So they are OBSEC a lot of the time.
Yeah.
They move 12 inches, so they are fast. They can, as I said, they do everything. So let's go phase by phase. Movement phase. They move 12 inches. All right. That's good by itself.
Yeah.
They also deep strike for free. So that is good by itself.
Options, yeah.
Movement phase again. 2 CP lets you re-teleport them on the board. good by itself. Because you can get all sorts of secondaries, you can get anywhere you want on the board.
Yep.
You can just shunt them around. Also in the movement phase, you can fall back, shoot, and charge for 1 CP because they have a teleporter. So that's pretty disgusting. Oh, what if you just wanted to be White Scars? So that's what they do in the movement phase, my man. Let's go to the psychic phase because yes, they are a unit that plays in the psychic phase. Pretty rare. They smite, which when you have a bunch of units of interceptors, you're gonna smite. You're just gonna do it.
It's gonna hurt.
And you're gonna get a bunch of mortal wounds.
Yep.
They also have a special power, which is called Etheric Castigation, where they move again. So maybe moving 12 inches in the movement phase and moving over models and terrain and ignoring vertical penalties for movement because they're interceptor packs. Maybe that wasn't enough. Maybe we have to let them move again. Now, I know what you're saying. I bet they can't shoot if they do that. That's where you would be wrong. They get to fire all of their storm bolters, which we'll get to in a second, and then they get to move again. Now, they can't charge after that, but I think moving 24 inches is enough. So, also in the psychic phase, they are the perfect guys to just run forward and do Purifying Ritual, a broken 15-point secondary for Grey Knights.
Yep.
So they're pretty good at that too. So they score you your secondaries. They score you your secondaries for retrieve Octarius data. They score you your secondaries for tearing down your opponent's banners. They score your primaries for tearing down your opponent's stuff because they move so fast. And they also have a bunch of damage output in the psychic phase when you don't need them to do that. All right, that's 2 phases down. We still have 2 more to go. Let's go to the shooting phase. Oh, that's all right. They only have a storm bolter apiece. All right, so they're not as broken in this phase as they are in other ones. Luckily, they still get to play in it, unlike a lot of units. Like Hellions, they have splinter pods, and they're still really good. Oh, Hiveguard, they don't get to do combat. No. They have 20 Storm Bolter shots.
For a
20
5-man.
For a 5-man. They hit on 3s. So, I mean, a lot of the time you're going to be hitting on 3s, roll 1s. And you take a bunch of units of these, and that's like 100 shots. So your opponent pushes you up close. I'm sorry, were those Grotesques getting a little too handsy with you? Here's 120 shots out of 6 squads of interceptors. Have fun. Catch that. You have a 6-up invuln. Die. Like, their shooting matters. And it matters a lot. Yeah. And as I said, if you do Etheric Castigation and you decide you want to move again, you don't have to lose out on any of that damage. You don't have to lose out on any of that offense. You still get it. And the bolters, they're bolters, but they add up, and they add up really fast, especially since they're doing damage in every phase, which does lead me to the last phase, which is combat. And assault phase, fight phase, and whatnot, they hit really hard for a unit that does everything in all of the previous phases. They are 3 attacks base, and they have force weapons.
Why are they free attacks?
Don't worry, John. It's like a power weapon, except it's damage 2. So don't worry. You have halberds, which are probably the best option. Strength 6, AP 2, 2 damage, 3 attacks a guy. So that's 16 attacks out of a unit. I know what you're saying. Wow, that combat doesn't sound that good. It does sound that good, actually, because they kill like everything. But let's say that you were worried about your damage output. Maybe killing everything isn't enough. You need to kill everything and their mother. All right, well, to do that, you have A, Tide of Convergence, so 6s to wound are mortals, and B, a lot of the time they're Impression Brethren, which 1 CP reroll, 1s to hit and wound makes their damage output insanely reliable, even if they're across the board. So no, they kill everything. They kill so many things. They kill Celestine in combat, things most things don't do, just mortal wound, mortal wound, mortal wound, mortal wound, full rerolls. And, they hit absurdly hard. You can also take Falchions if you want to fish for wound rerolls. Probably wouldn't recommend it. Halberds are probably the best. You take Swords to be AP 3 to cut through all that AP -1, -2. They move very, very quick. And they're also still Marines. So they're still durable, and they still have access to Transhuman if you want to spend for it, which you probably don't, but that option is just there for you. And Tide of Shadows makes them also insanely durable, because they always count as in cover when they're in Tide of Shadows. And if they're already in cover, a thing that infantry can do, they're -1 to be hit. They count as being in dense as well. So this unit that performs really well, it's very fast, and it hits hard in psychic, shooting, and combat. It also is just the hardest Marine in the game to remove. Like the hardest 2-wound power armor Marine to remove, period. It's so good at everything.
I hate them so much.
And they're 24 points a model, which means you can take 30. So everything I just said, they can also just be thrown away to score points. You don't need to get maximum value out of every squad in order for them to be broken. You have 5 turns, you have 6 units, throw one onto their objective, every single turn of the game. They will score 0 on primary. You will have a unit left at the end cheering their buddies on.
Casting Purifying
Just
Ritual.
casting Purifying Ritual all goddamn day long. And, I mean, they're insane. They're so good at... They're Swiss Army knives that have a gun and a laser beam attached to them. Like...
You want to hear a joke?
I'd love to hear a joke, John. Interceptors?
Nick didn't think that they were number one.
What do you think was number one?
He was like... He didn't like give it a strong opinion on that. I was like, yeah, put them as number one. He's like, really? I don't think they're the best unit in the game. And I'm like, have we looked at this? Yeah. What breaks my heart the most is that Vanguard Veterans are good enough to make this list.
Yep.
And a also, Vanguard Veteran with a power axe and a jump pack is more expensive than an Interceptor in exchange for not having a Stormbolter, not being a Psyker, not being damaged too.
Not getting access to the broken strategy.
Not getting access. Not doing mortal wounds in combat. Not getting tides. Like, you get chapter tactics, so there's give and take. And that's a bad way to run Van Vets, and it costs more than an Intercept.
They're so unbelievably good. And like, people were worried. People are like, yeah, well, you talk about Strike Marines. Like, you add... a power weapon, a force weapon, and a Stormbolter to an Intercessor, and then you only give it +2 points. Oh, no wonder grenades. All right, you do that, and you make them move 12 and everything. No. Strikes are not the problem with Grey Knights. Strikes are fine. Strikes are fine, man. Like, they're not a problem. They move 6 inches. Who cares? If you're getting clowned by them, that's on you. No. The point where it becomes not okay is when it's 4 points and they get to move 12 and fall back and shoot and charge. Move twice. And just be all up in your business doing everything they want to do and then shooting and charging. Like, each one of these units will, in a turn, kill more than they cost. And score you secondaries.
They're so good at scoring.
And deny your opponent primaries.
They're so good. And they're so good at scoring. Like, they're good at violence. They're good at the mission. Like, they just go out there and they're like, all right. Like, I don't like sacrificing Marines for my secondaries. Because I don't like sending out 5 Intercessors to die to get me Stranglehold.
I personally love it.
I bet you do. And Interceptors are like, don't worry. We're going to get you that and Purifying Ritual and deny my opponent primary because that went 24 inches instead of, like, 6 plus D6. And I'm like... You're the same cost as an infiltrator.
And we're also going to kill something at the same time.
And they're going to kill some. Like, they're still shooting Stormbolters while they're moving 24 inches and getting, like...
Or, they move up, they tag an objective, they cast Purifying Ritual, they shoot something to death, they charge something to death, and they end up on your opponent's objective. And your opponent is looking at this 120-point unit that just punched way above its weight. And you're scoring your secondaries, and you're denying primaries, and you're killing them. No decisions need to be made here. You do all of it.
Yeah, I got nothing. Like, Grey Knights, so good.
They're fun to play with, I tell you.
Interceptors do everything for a very reasonable price point.
Very reasonable price point.
They are priced to move.
I mean, when you see the maximum amount just slotted into a list without like having to work up to it.
No.
They're a little cheap.
Like, I tried writing some lists with 25, and I was like,
why does this not have 30?
Back to 30. Just
30 Interceptors.
I probably would have 35 if I could.
I would have 40.
You think just even 40? Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
Why not, right?
I don't never run out of Interceptors? Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you just cut a Dread Knight and the random character you're floating around, you add 2 of them in, and Servitors or something, and like...
Right on. That is it for our top 10. There were a couple of honorable mentions. The Proteus kill team got brought up. We really like the Proteus kill team. There are some questions in the chat that we're going to get to in a moment as well. Any other honorable mentions for you? Anything that like almost got there?
Let me think. Sacrosanct almost got there for me because their bodyguard kind of carries the codex by themselves.
Bodyguard real strong. Not gonna lie.
What else just didn't make the cut? Let me take a look.
Yeah, for me it was Proteus kill teams. Repentia were real close.
Repentia were real close for me as well.
They're real close. They're probably making the top 15.
We both mentioned Proteus kill teams at the bottom of our top 10s, and then the ones that we forgot.
Like kind of slotted in and knocked Proteus teams down to like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
Because Proteus kill teams are like the best thing that keeps Deathwatch competitive in my opinion.
Yes.
Although I'm not talking the new list as much because I haven't done much of the younger for now. But in general, Proteus kill teams, very good.
They don't have a ton of damage, but they just have so much utility that
their damage isn't bad.
Their damage is
it's
fine.
Marine damage.
Like, yeah, for a 250-ish
not
point unit,
interceptor
you
damage.
get a bike squad that acts like infantry and hits pretty reasonably hard and has a bunch of bolter shots. I mean, they have a bunch of bolter shots. Sorry, they have 16 bolter shots. The interceptors have 20. I mean, what do you... I can't even talk about other units now without talking about interceptors.
Yeah.
They hit hard in combat. Not as hard as interceptors.
Incubi definitely were close. I almost had Incubi in the list.
They probably would have made it without the points increase.
Yeah, but they did go up a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit.
So they're like 12
They went up 1 or 2.
something.
Yeah, they're probably that top 15. But also the thing is that we've seen Dark Elder lists do well without Incubi recently. I think that's because they have a glut of options, not because Incubi are bad. I still like Incubi.
Yeah, Dark Elder are leaving broken units at home because they have to take even brokener ones.
Yeah. Custodes almost made the cut. I think some of their vehicles might make it. Shield Guard was something I thought about. They're close.
They're
not
really
quite
good,
there.
but they
Venatari.
kind of just do one thing.
Yeah.
And a lot of these just do 15 things, or they do one
Or they do one
brokenly
thing the
well.
best in the game at it. Yeah. Someone asked, what would we do about intercessors?
Interceptors, maybe?
Intercessors.
Oh, intercessors.
Because we use the intercessor as a unit of measurement, and it does not measure up anymore. I honestly would rather they rebalance the game around a 20-point intercessor. I'm fine with an intercessor being 20. Honestly, like, people have asked me, like, Marines are so bad now. What do they need to do to fix Marines? My fervent wish is that Marines don't change much at all. Maybe, like, the Gladiator, the Repulsor, the completely unseen things go down a little bit. Maybe, like, Volkite Contemptors go up, like, 10 points. Redemptors go up 5 or 10 points. What I really want is that you keep Marines the same as the baseline, and they do the points update kind of raises a lot of other things. Like, I'm totally fine with the 20-point intercessor if an interceptor costs, like, 26, 28.
Yeah, so what you're trying to avoid is the size creep. Right?
Yeah, I don't like size creep. I like actually my 2,000-point army being about as big as it is right now. Yeah. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind if it was a little bit smaller, as long as everyone else was too.
That's probably unlikely to happen.
Probably, yeah.
I would, in lieu of that, take a couple points decrease on intercessors. Yep. They are just not good for their points cost. You are strong-armed into taking them.
I think 17 points.
17 points would be actually very reasonable. They don't do
and like tactical Marines are currently 18. I could see them going to 16, 15. Like, honestly, they used to be 15 at 1 wound. I think the 2 wound experiment was fun. I think you just make them 15 points again.
Crusaders, old Crusaders from the old book, they were 15 points per model.
Not remotely
broken. Good. They were not broken.
No, you didn't take extras. You just took
took the 3 units of 5. I will say that if they do decide to rebalance the game, what I would like is a little bit more duplication in slots.
Yep.
Van Vets are the only good melee option. Then there's Blade Guard if you want to be slow, like if you're being defensive. And that's it. So I think that like Assault Marines really want to be brought up. I think Terminators.
Deathwing Terminators I like. Deathwing Terminators were close to the list.
Old Black Templar Terminators were pretty good. New Black Templar Terminators could be good into Thick City. Like Assault Marines, I really want them to be good, and they are.
Yeah. Someone was asking about Scarab Cult Terminators. They did not make the list. I will freely admit, I thought about them. No Chaos units made our top 10 for units.
I don't think they would make the top 15, to be honest. Chaos units.
Don't think so either. Scarab Cults would probably make my top 20. They are very good. I like Scarab Cult Terminators. I actually have Chaos Spawn above Scarab Cult Terminators, though. Chaos Spawn almost made my top 10. They were like my number 11. Because for 23 points, a Chaos Spawn, real good.
Yeah, just to be clear, it's not like 5-man squads that are really good, although they're not terrible. It's the 1-man.
Actually, I like 5-man squads too. It's just for 23 points a model, however many you take scales well.
Yeah,
they're cheap.
Well, 1 or 5, I think.
They're cheap.
They're cheap. 23 points is not a lot. And with the buffs, you can make them pretty durable. I don't know if they'd make my top 15, but they'd be like 16th at least.
Yeah.
And then Scarab Cult Terminators would have to work. They'd have to work hard to make my top 20.
They would make my top 20.
They might make.
They would make mine. I like Scarab Cult Terminators a lot. Unfortunately,
I don't think they're terrible. They're definitely better than Rubrics.
You'll notice that a lot of the units we mentioned have 9th edition books. The vast majority. Unfortunately, Chaos has a lot of stuff stuck in 8th edition right now. Same reason Tau and Craft Worlds did not quite make the cut for us.
Yes.
But the changes are coming, and eventually those guys will all get codexes as well.
And to be fair, a lot of these units are just broken. So
You don't want to be on this list.
You don't want to be on this list.
Yeah.
This list is like, hey, GW, these are units that need to be fixed. So, Scarab Occult Terminators not necessarily making our top 10 or not necessarily being in my personal top 20, although I haven't thought about it. They make it, and there's a lot of units in the game.
Fair.
That doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. It just means they're not causing real problems.
Real problems. All right, everyone. Well, I think we're good here. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, this one was fun.
I liked picking out the top units. Listening to Jack explain interceptors just made my heart sing. Because I'm like, yeah, they do all that, don't they?
Yeah. No, I kept thinking of more things in every phase that they could do. I'm sure I missed some strats and stuff that are make them broken. Like,
they can
rapiers make them hit even harder.
They can be transhuman.
Yes, they can.
They can be transhuman. Like,
Yeah, I mentioned that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you lost in the deluge of rules I was just dumping on the table.
Interceptors, man.
As I said, rapiers can make them hit even harder. Blades of Victory can make them pre-game move. Like, oh my god, dude. Just do everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching us. If you enjoyed this video, you can find more of our content in the Art of War War Room. You can find that on our website, theartofwar40k.com, where wonderful coaches like myself, Jack Harpster, Mark Perry, Richard Siegler, Nick Donavati, and many, many more are there to teach you everything you want to know about Warhammer. It's a global community. Yeah. It's all made up of like-minded players. So if you really enjoy Warhammer, you want to get better, and you want to be part of a community of like-minded players that all just really enjoy the game, same as everyone else, come check it out. We even have some bonus content on our YouTube channel, so make sure to like, subscribe, get access to that as well. And thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you all next time. We'll send you off with a promo of the War Room. Until then, have fun.
Have a good day.
Dive even deeper into competitive 40K and become a member of the world's most knowledgeable and positive community.
The War Room is an exclusive group that brings together the world's best 40K players as coaches to help anyone from a newer player to an experienced tournament veteran learn, grow, and reach their goals within our shared hobby.
Each week we offer a variety of live stream coaching matches centered around illuminating the thought process and in-game decision making of top players. We explain everything we're doing and why.
You'll learn about the ever-evolving meta, match play mission theory, list making, and discussion of every faction in the game, and have access to analysis of all the latest rules. Our team of highly experienced coaches teach weekly clinics on each individual faction, strategy sessions on deployment and cool tricks, and meta-analyses each week during Meta Monday.
We are committed to not only providing the best knowledge for players available, but also building a one-of-a-kind community.
Come be a part of the War Room.